Hello, welcome to the Kitchen Spy. My name is Kate. This is a recipe for turkey burgers, and I'm also going to show you how I make my homemade chips. I know that might seem like a bit of a basic thing, but I try to keep the fat as low as possible on the food that I eat. It just keeps the calories down, and this is how I do my own oven baked chips. I hope you enjoy the recipe. If you think you might like to make it, I'm going to pop the ingredients down below. And if you do try it, then please let me know in the comments how you get on and let me know if you've enjoyed it. If you are a subscriber already, thank you so much for your support. And if you're not and you feel like you might want to see my recipe videos and food hauls again, then please hit the subscribe button and also the notification button too. So let's go and have a look at the ingredients, and there aren't very many, as you can see. I've got a teaspoon of coriander, 2 cloves of garlic, 1 small green chilli which is deseeded and roughly chopped. I've got a roughly chopped large onion, that's about 130 grams there, and then a good handful of coriander leaves and stalks, which for some reason is on a very tiny plate, and the turkey, which is 2% fat turkey breast mince. And the next thing we're going to do is make the burger patties. So over in the bowl here I've got the mince, and I'm going to add all of the other ingredients plus salt and some black pepper as well. What I've done with the rest of the ingredients is I've actually blitzed them all in the food processor, and as you can see this has kind of resulted in a kind of green mush, which doesn't look very appetizing at the moment, but what this does is make sure that our burgers are not only really flavoursome but they're also not at all dry. This really is quite succulent burger. And I cook my burgers in the oven, as you'll see later, and this just makes sure that we've got plenty of flavour and moisture in the burger for when we actually do the cooking. So I'm adding salt and plenty of black pepper as well. And then what we have to do is mix all of the ingredients together. Now, absolutely the best way to do this is by using your hands. You can't actually beat just getting your hands in there and mixing everything up together. I don't particularly like getting food and things on my hands, so I'm going to be using some gloves. Yeah, so here I am with my gloves on, ready to squeeze and mix the mixture together. Looking slightly weird, but anyway, needs must. So in I go with my gloves on and just mixing everything all the way through. And having the green mixture really does kind of make it easy for you to see that you've got things mixed all the way through. This takes quite some time to do, and it's worth taking your time over because you want to make sure the flavours are everywhere. So I've kind of sped through that a little bit. And then as you can see here, the mixture is completely mixed through into the mince, and we're nearly ready to go on to the next step. And that's about forming the burgers themselves. So pair of gloves number 2. I'm pressing the mixture down now because what I'm trying to do is get 4 even burgers from this. So I'm just using a spatula to make sure I've got 4 quarters here, and then in turn I'm going to take each of the quarters and I'm going to make it into first of all a ball, and then I'm going to flatten it into a patty burger shape. Now I don't use egg because obviously I am always trying to reduce calories. I don't use breadcrumbs or anything as a binding agent, so you do have to press quite firmly and make sure that when you roll in the balls that you actually you're pressing really hard, and then making sure that you're pressing the patties down. So as you can see, what I was aiming to do was to make 4 even shaped burgers, and as you can see I haven't managed that. I've got 3 normal ones and a massive one, but hey, never mind, I guess that's a husband style one. So over at the pan I'm just spraying some of my trusty spray oil, moving it around the pan so that it's spread evenly. This just makes sure that the burgers don't stick, because there's hardly any fat in the turkey. Obviously it's only 2% fat, so we need to make sure that we've got an even spread. And then we just want to put the burgers into the pan, and once they're in, just leave them. Don't move them around for quite a while, because what we want to do is make sure that the bottom of the burgers is a nice golden toasty brown before we turn them over. So I'm just pressing them down onto the pan, and I'm just going to leave them now to get to the point where the bottoms of them are quite brown, and that might take about 5 minutes. So once we've got to that point, we just flip them over and just try each one. And this is a big pan, so it's not very even in, as you can see. That one is way browner than the others. So I'm just going to move the position of the pan around so that I'm making sure that each of the burgers are getting browned on both sides. All I'm looking to do here is make sure that there's some colour on the burgers, because I'm going to finish the cooking of them in the oven. Now I'm going to cook them at 180 fan oven, and that will take about 20 minutes. I will put down below what that is in centigrade and also in Fahrenheit. But now I've got them to the point where they're looking quite toasty brown on both sides, I want to actually start to put them on the tray. As we're oven cooking them, we want to make sure obviously that they're cooked in the middle. So I'm just going to show you in a while how I do that, and I use a food thermometer. So I'm just going to make sure that they are all on the tray now. So here's one looking nice and toasty. So I just get that on the tray, and then I do the same for all the other 4 as well. This is, I think, a really good way of cooking burgers, and also because it's not last minute, you don't have to worry about standing in front of the stove all the time. So I've got the 4 burgers here, as you can see, the big monster burger and the 3 more normal ones, and I have covered the tray in foil, which saves on washing up, which I realise I say quite a lot, so I'm sorry, but who wants to wash up? And then I'm going to pop those in the oven for about 20 minutes. So here's the cover to my thermometer, and as you can see, for ground meat and meat mixtures, turkey or chicken, we're looking for a temperature of 74 degrees. This is really useful because you never have to look things up. It's always on the thermometer for you to look at. This is called a Polder thermometer, and I got this from Lakeland originally, and I think it's helped me, because I think before I had this I had a tendency to overcook things, I think, just to make sure that they were definitely cooked, whereas now I use this and I can feel comfortable and confident that it's cooked without it going over. So here I'm testing the monster burger first, and I'm looking for 74 degrees, and as you can see I've got 76.5, so that's most definitely cooked. My version of chips, so I've got some potatoes and I've sliced them into chip shapes, as you can see there, and then I've just got a few other ingredients. So I've got some pepper, I've got some salt, I've got some Dijon mustard. Bear with me, just stay with me, this does work, I promise. Anyway, so I've got some Dijon mustard, and I've got some Cajun seasoning, and also I've got half a lemon. So what we're going to do is actually coat the potatoes in these ingredients, and it gives the potatoes a really lovely flavour. It makes them go brown as well, easier than if you hadn't. So what I'm doing here is adding a heaped teaspoon of Dijon mustard, and then I'm going to mix through just a shake of Cajun seasoning. You don't have to put Cajun seasoning in, you can use herbs or you can just use salt and pepper. I like to use Cajun, it just gives that little bit of a bite. I think when you cook without oil, you need to make sure that you're putting other flavours in to compensate for the lack of oil, because it's, unfortunately, it's fat that actually makes our food taste nice. Who doesn't love the fat on some bacon or whatever? So what we're trying to do here is replace some of those flavours. So I'm just mixing everything, the juice of the half of lemon, the salt and pepper, the Cajun seasoning and the Dijon mustard, and I'm going to give that a big old stir. And then we're going to coat the chips in this. I know it sounds weird, but you don't taste the mustard at all. It just gives them a flavour and a colour and a texture that feels more like a fried chip. So I'm just going to pour this onto the chips. Just pour it in, and as with a burger, the best way to combine this is actually to get your hands in and dirty. So on comes gloves number 3. So this meal has been a 3 pair of gloves meal for me, but hey ho. Right, so I'm just going to make sure that I mix the chips all the way through with all of that sauce. It's coating the potatoes, so it will actually be really flavoursome when we cook them. And because there is a little bit of oil or fat in the Dijon mustard as well, just the tiniest amount, it will make sure that they don't stick to the tray. But just to be sure, I always give the tray a spray of oil as well, and that just makes sure that they don't stick. So once you're happy that the chips have all been coated through, and I'll show you them a bit closer. So there's not loads and loads of coating on them at all. It's just a very small amount of coating on the potatoes, which just adds that little tiny bit of flavour that we want. And here they are on a tray ready to go in the oven, and these can take about 40 minutes to cook. Clearly I haven't done this in sequence, so I did the chips earlier before the burgers, again with the foil covering to save on washing up. Okay, so here we are all plated up. So this is a turkey burger with the chips. The turkey burgers came in at 156 calories each. Well, they would have done if the monster burger hadn't been bigger than the others, but I'm still counting just a quarter of the total calories. It just makes it easier. So 156 for the burgers, and the potato, the chips there with the ingredients I've got there came to 222 calories. I've got a splodge of sriracha sauce because I like anything spicy, and I've got some salad, and I just had some balsamic vinegar on that salad, so no dressing. So this plate of food, this plate of delicious food, came to 444 calories. The burgers really are very succulent, and I think you can actually see that, how plump and juicy those burgers are, and the chips are just delicious. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you will feel like you want to give it a go. I do appreciate it's a very simple kind of recipe, but someone asked me to do the video, so I've done it. But it's something I come back to time and time again, and I make various sizes of them, and they're also good as little patties that you could serve as a starter with perhaps a chili dip or something. Anyway, so there you are. There's my turkey burgers. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please give it a big old thumbs up. If you are already subscribed, thank you so much. Thank you for coming back, and thank you for your support. And if you haven't yet subscribed and you feel like you might want to, please give it a go. I post recipes and haul videos. And once again, thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.